Hello, and welcome to Bottom Line. I'm Cindy Kainz. I'm excited about our show for today. We're going to be talking about the Career and Life Design Center at Oakland University. I'd like to introduce my guest for today's show. He's the Senior Director, Wayne Thibodeau. Wayne, welcome to Bottom Line.
Thank you, Cindy, and I'm excited to be on your show today.
Maybe we can help kind of level set the audience who's watching that might say, well, what is a Career and Life Design Center? Why was it created?
Yeah, so we ultimately decided that we really need to transition to help our students prepare for their future careers. And so we needed the transitional from a traditional career service office. And we made that transition through a transformative model using life design and design thinking modalities and skills to help our students prepare for their careers. So I sent a team of two. Set of two staff members to Life Design Studio at Stanford University in the pandemic, and that was during 2020. And so really we recognized different types of models were being used across the universities and across the nation to help students thrive for their career, future success. And so we began to transform our developmental services and our models to help students be most successful. And so we also recognize the need more than ever for students to feel a sense of belonging, engagement within their community, and empower them to be meaningful forward in their life.
Now, you mentioned, and when I was thinking and kind of reading and looking at the website and trying to understand it myself, you mentioned, kind of moving away from the traditional model. And so if somebody's saying, well, what would have been traditional ways versus maybe what are some of the more current ways that are being utilized?
Sure. So I would say our traditional services were really built around resumes, helping students really develop professional resumes and help really promote themselves future opportunities. In our methods, we actually use the Designing Your Life book by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans to help transform our office. And we're designing processes to help students build their way forward. The foundation of our career and life design model is around mindsets and milestones. So that means first and foremost to get curious. So helping students ask the right questions and explore resources for success. Secondly, it's having a bias to action. So trying things, prototyping throughout different experiences like internships. And then thirdly, it's building community connections, both on campus while they're college students, as well as off campus to build their way forward for success.
And as you start implementing this model and doing that here, for Oakland University and for all the students and alumni, how do you find that, what are things that you'd like to have the students and people start thinking about when they're attending university, even if it's the very first year? Because I think many times, you think about, okay, your first year, you're just kind of exploring, getting some of those general courses out of the way. And then maybe, year 3 or 4, okay, let's get serious and think about where we're going to go. Where I think your model here and what you're trying to do is actually have them start thinking about that already the first year.
Absolutely, Cindy. We all recognize that college is an investment, right? So our goal at Oakland University is to provide students with a well-rounded education with real-world hands-on experiences that prepares them for meaningful careers. And so really engaging early and often in exploratory activities like our university-wide career fairs, internships for hands-on experience, also our industry field trips, which we call here at Oakland University career treks for exploration, and networking unique events across the industry sectors with alumni and employer partners. It can really help students develop an awareness and the breadth of opportunities that they can pursue out in the market and in the industry sectors. So students should really be engaging early and often, as early as their freshman year. Early and often opens doors to advancing their skills, their knowledge, and access to connections across industry sectors.
And if one of the students came to you, Wayne, and they said, Wayne, it's their first year, like you said, and you're encouraging them, and they're like, I'm really not sure what I want to do, so it's only my first year, but I'm not sure what path I want to go down or what career I want. How would you start working with them to maybe start thinking more about it? Maybe they just haven't really thought through it.
Absolutely. So first and foremost, we're proud of our career and life design model because it helps students who are exploring find their path forward. We know with the life design model that there's more than one way forward. And we know that a degree doesn't always equate to a career. And so helping students navigate those uncertainties, we know, and personally, I've had 4 of my own children that have been through the college experience, and that students are nervous. Students are, not fully aware of what they're going to experience in college. And so helping build that sense of belonging through exploration. And one of the things that I'm proud of at Oakland University is that we're advantaged in our location in Oakland County. So we have more than 700 firms from 34 different countries that serves premier destination for growth and opportunities that are leading industry sectors. So students can explore things like manufacturing, automotive, mobility, defense and aerospace, nonprofit organizations here in the local area, as well as healthcare are prime opportunities. So helping students realize they don't have to have it all figured out, but our office will help them support their navigation for success.
Absolutely. And you, as you mentioned, and you have a personal experience. One, you're a dad of 4, right? He's going to college. 2, you're at Oakland University and the senior director of the center. As people are thinking and watching, and parents who might be watching or someone watching, and they are coming from high school now, graduating to go into college, and they're coming to Oakland University, what would you want them to do, once they get their feet wet on campus there a little bit?
So definitely take advantage of the resources here on campus. I will tell you, I also was a transfer student myself from another 4-year institution. What attracted me to Oakland University is the location, but also the community feel. What we encourage students to do while they're students is to really navigate experiences while they're college students from freshman year through senior year. So whether that's in getting involved in student organizations, clubs, maybe they could work on campus at an employment department on campus. I actually hire close to 15 students to work in our department. But it gives those students transferable skills and an identity for them to build competitive skill sets during their college experience. Students could also study abroad. So really taking advantage of resources, connections on campus, and even connecting with their faculty during faculty open hours so that they develop a rapport and a relationship to know what the faculty are looking at for each of their academic programs.
And as we think through this, if there's someone who's watching or thinking about this, and maybe they're entering their 4th year now, and they're thinking, oh boy, I wasn't aware. Now I am aware. Now I'm really getting nervous, because I probably should have started sooner. Can they catch up, so to speak, and then still be able to be successful in that last year to try to help them find the career that they might be loving once they graduate?
Absolutely. One of the things we're proud of in our model is that it helps work with students where they are. So whether it's a incoming freshman student, we are one of the top transfer institutions in the state of Michigan. So we could have students bringing in college credit, or maybe they're from a community college, or bring work experience, or whether it's a graduating senior, as you mentioned, Cindy, who's ready to hit the ground running. And so we'll help start them with their experience while they're at their place in their career. And so our transformative services will help students feel that sense of belonging, but also give them a real in-depth breadth of how do I begin to explore my career options? How do I capitalize on promoting my lifelong experiences that I've had if they're a graduating senior, to make sure that they're marketable, teach them how to use social media like LinkedIn to build their brand and a brand identity as an Oakland University graduate, and then really help them become competitive through the interview process and help them understand that I am marketable and how do I make a difference in the organization that I'm pursuing.
Great. And one thing I wanted to touch upon early on and is that, you've just now passed the 1-year anniversary mark of the OU pledge, Oakland University pledge. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, we have a very fortunate place at Oakland University with a strong president, Ora Hurst-Peskovitz, who is committed to student success and dedicated to our student outcomes. And so Ora, our actually president, had the vision to launch what we call OU Pledge, February 5th of 2025. And that's truly our commitment. So every student, undergraduate student, has the hands-on experience for meaningful learning while they're in college to pursue opportunities and prepare them for the workplace.
And that's amazing in itself, because, you have everybody, the president setting the standard, setting it, saying, I'm going to be here for you as the president of the university to help make sure you're successful while you're at Oakland University and after. There's a few things I wanted to touch upon too. And one, I believe, is there's the system that you call the handshake that students can get used to and use at the Career and Life Design Center.
Yes. So Handshake is the recruitment portal that we have invested in for our students for their future. So whether students want to work on campus or or off campus, students can actually use Handshake as one of the top recruiting portals nationally. And so what we have is we've developed a career ambassador program to help students navigate their way forward using Handshake as that portal for access to opportunities. So we actually hire mentors of students who have been in the freshman shoes, right? And so these career ambassadors consist of students who are freshmen all the way to graduate level students who work in our department to help them serve as mentors to navigate Handshake. And some of the things that these students will experience coming into our office, into what we call the Career Studio, is how to develop a resume that's really built to promote my skills and be competitive in the market. We have a tool called Big Interview that's using AI technology to help transform students' experience into a competitive portfolio. And so students can actually use their own language to build competitive documents that are helping them compete in the workplace. Also, we will help students through our Career Studio get prepared for career fairs. Obviously, we know today that might be a little overwhelming for students to attend a career fair with 120 companies, but we will have a career ready room helping students prepare for all of our career fairs, all of our major events, and our career ambassadors can really help them, put them at ease, but also help them navigate that experience that day. Lastly, we have what we call a professional headshot here in our office, and it is a free headshot studio quality that's self-serving to students. And in about 3 minutes, a student can receive via their email a professional headshot that they can build for their profile in LinkedIn and other social media sites for branding and identity for the market.
Wayne, it's so exciting as you're explaining all that. One, I just love and appreciate your passion. But, thinking through all those skills and all those things that a student needs to be successful to get out there and get a job, Oakland University and the center and the Career Studio is giving that to them. And one of the things I was really excited when I was looking at this and preparing for the show was, like you mentioned, headshots. I mean, what a great thing to, yes, you can help with the resume. Yes, you help interview. Yes, you try to get them at the career fair. But sometimes the headshot is also key. And especially students could or could not maybe afford to go out and get a professional headshot. So I really think that's also something that really gives the students 360 degrees of what, they can be, to help them be, successful.
Absolutely, Cindy. One of the things that we recognize is that students are living on their devices today. And so helping students really have a marketable brand identity for competing in the market. And so we are thankful for Enterprise Mobility, who is our sponsor for our professional headshots, and our Iris booth, which is our professional headshot booth. And so we really take pride in our work to help students build that brand identity, whether it's social media, whether it's LinkedIn, or other professional sites to help them be successful.
Great. If we talk about some of the companies and employers out there, in the career fairs, it's like, how do you even get your arms around it? Because I just can imagine, like you said, Oakland University has an amazing reputation. It's the first of its kind to have this design center and the studio. And how encompassing is it to try to have all these companies to work with to offer opportunities like co-ops and internships?
Well, we think it's vital to make sure that our students are given that fruitful opportunity to engage face to face. So we are fortunate. Again, we're thriving in Oakland County, one of the most prosperous counties in the state of Michigan, where employers recognize the need to come to campus to really their affairs, but most importantly, develop a personal relationship with our students. And so it's important for us to make sure our students are ready. And one of the things that we hear very commonly from our employers is that students are career ready, they attend professionally, they look great, and they're ready to hit the market and the ground running. And so one of the things that we do is make sure we are inviting multiple industry sectors. We put on our university-wide career fairs, both in the fall semester and the winter semester. And so one of the things that we're opening these opportunities up are including internships, cooperative opportunities, fieldwork experiences, and also making sure students are ready at their senior year for full-time employment upon graduation.
Wayne, something I've always seen too, and I'm curious if you can help maybe walk us through some of the, the options of what are out there. We've kind of talked about internships. We've talked about co-ops, some service learning, some field experience, of course. If someone's saying, well, what's the difference between an internship, let's say, in a co-op, and, what kind of length are they? What's the expectation and so forth?
Sure. Thank you, Cindy, for that question. You're exactly right. There is some maybe fuzzy lines across different definitions, but internships are typically one semester based, right? Or they might be a full summer. And so one of the things that we're excited about at Oakland University is we have continuous internship opportunities because of our location, because of the flexibility around internship programs. So what that means is a student could take on a full-time internship in the summer. They could continue that in the fall or even winter, and possibly even through the academic year. So that provides an opportunity for lengthy hands-on experiences in the internship realm. Cooperative education are typically multiple periods of work-related or major-related assignments that are typically alternating terms. So it might be one term for student work experience. The next term, they're actually in classroom study. So it's discipline related. That's every other semester. Service learning is another form of hands-on experiential learning. And that's actually defined as a course-based credit-bearing educational experience. And that's where students participate in a semester-long service partnership that meets a community defined need or an aspiration in the community. Field experience, I can tell you, I had that myself as an undergraduate in our human resource development program. I had to serve 320 hours, for example, in field work experience in my senior year in a human services profession. And so that really allowed me to come prepared and be very, very competitive. Another field for field experience commonly are our healthcare professions that really allows, as well as education, right? We've got students who are doing student teaching during their education program to make them competitive for the teaching experience. Clinical proctorships are rotations really tied to healthcare settings for nurses that really give them preceptors and develop students for clinicals and really allow for assessments and judging and make sure that they're competitive for the market. Undergraduate research here at Oakland University, they can do that undergraduate, and they work side by side for a student and our teaching assistants as early as their freshman year for developing their skill set in research. And then lastly, I might suggest would be the study abroad. And that's, again, faculty-led. And that's an exchange of a partnership and programs to enhance students' academic knowledge and immersive cultural learning. And we have over 300 programs, almost covering every major in more than 45 countries, spanning 6 different continents. So we're very advantaged to have a wealth of experiential learning at Oakland University.
And Wayne, all those are amazing opportunities and so customized to necessarily, to if it's teaching, if it's clinical, the field experience, service related, opportunities if people want to be in the service industry or helping others or nonprofits. One of the things that it seems like would be really beneficial is doing, any of these field experience internship co-ops. Now, I know it's not guaranteed, but do you see that when a student does internships and co-ops, it could actually lead to them, if they enjoy it and if the company values what they're doing, that they could possibly lead to a job eventually?
Absolutely. The internships and hands-on learning really prepares the students for the world of work. I think it's a test pilot opportunity for both the employer to really look at what could this talent bring to my organization long term. And so it is really truly a pilot opportunity for the student to learn about the culture of the organization, to get a chance to meet with former alumni from Oakland University, as well as assess, is this a long-term fit for what I bring, as well as what my aspirations for my successful career.
And I have to ask this question because I'm just always curious. What do you see? Is there any surprises when you see the students come in and kind of go through this when they first walk in the door? Are they surprised? Is there something that kind of surprises them? Like, wow, I didn't know that I could do this, or I didn't know this was available to me. Not necessarily the whole career program, of course, but something in particular, maybe.
I would say it's the time and the investment that students recognize for identifying their pathway forward. Students necessarily don't know what they don't know. So having a curiosity mindset, bringing a sense of urgency to try things and prototype it while you're in college. Yeah. We know that in this type of market, it doesn't happen overnight to land a position. And so gone are the days, Cindy, when students apply maybe to 50 to 100 jobs and they're waiting for that phone call for the interview. Students who engage early and often and explore while they're a college student really helps them for successful career readiness and increasing their opportunities to find meaningful pathway forward. And so in their senior year, it's really critical that they also engage in social connections. So building alumni connections, taking advantage of those career treks and field experiences to explore what the different industry sectors offer, and really opening doors for prosperous careers in the future.
And Wayne, as you mentioned that, and I think everybody, realizes it's a very competitive job market out there, and, if everything is apples to apples compared to students looking for, their employment, it might be, well, this person did have a co-op or an internship. Maybe it wasn't the exact company or the exact, but you could see that they had they were trying to get involved and make those connections. So I think that's, that it's such a benefit to even get some of that experience. Sometimes it could cause it to take a little more than 4 years to get done, but the work experience is just so invaluable, I think, these days, that if people can, students can take advantage of that. And if you could talk to a student and say, if a student said, Wayne, I get it, but, I want to get my 4 years and I want to get out. I don't want to go 5 years, or because of maybe like a co-op or an internship that, limits the time and that takes them longer. What would you say to someone with that approach?
Well, here's what I'll tell you, that employers really gravitate Oakland University because of the work ethic and the time that students put into complementing their strong academic experience with hands-on learning here in Oakland County and in the region. And employers tell us they would much rather have a student who brings in critical thinking, problem-solving skills, navigating the unknown, working in teams to solve problems in the real world. They would rather have a candidate who has that strong work experience to make an impact in the organizations than a strong 4.0 student who maybe even accelerated in 3 years or 4 years without that complementary experience. And so, to your point, Cindy, I think a well-rounded student is able to complement a strong education with hands-on learning that can be applied to solve real-world problems.
And I'm really so excited that, Wayne, that you brought that up. Things like you said, critical thinking skills, being able to work as a team, thinking out of the box, all those things. Those are skills that you're going to get when you do the field experience or maybe a co-op or internship, not to mention all the other people that you're working with, that you're making that connection, building your network of people that you And you mentioned things like LinkedIn and social. Do you find that that is a basis in helping students to get on LinkedIn and start getting familiar with that and build that network of connections?
Absolutely, Cindy. One of the top, I would say, national sites is LinkedIn. It's the
Okay.
professional networking site where students can begin to build their profile with our team as early as their freshman year. And what's exciting about that is they build their competitive brand through the hands-on learning while they're a college student. And it's really an opportunity to develop that portfolio from freshman through graduating year, and it really helps them be much, much more competitive. And whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Handshake, maybe Indeed or ZipRecruiter, these are all recruitment platforms that are looking for top talent. And so the other side of the coin is that employers are able to pursue and actually search for candidates on these sites. And so the more prepared students are, not only have professional profiles, they're uploading professional resumes that really customized to their own language and helping students compete. This is really going to help students have that fulfilling career lifelong beyond just college.
Absolutely. And not only updating, putting the resume out there, but then they also have a nice professional headshot versus just, taking a picture off your phone, that kind of upload.
Yes.
So again, it just, like you said, it helps build your brand. Who are you, for these companies, and also for people who are doing the connections, who want to accept your, if you're inviting them to be a connection in your network. So one thing I was wondering is, we say about students, and we also mentioned the word like alumni. Alumni may have become some of your career ambassadors. But if someone just graduated, could they still take advantage of some of these opportunities there at the university?
Absolutely. One of the things we're proud of, Cindy, is that we are providing services for life for our current students and alumni. As we know, in this challenging market, gone are the days when you see, employees commit to 30, 40 years at one organization. And so there are times when I was impacted by a downsizing. And so I had to make a pivot and transition to new industry. And so looking at the fact that our alumni may be in a situation where they need to come back, they need to refresh their skills, maybe look at building their LinkedIn profile, taking a professional headshot, but also helping them pivot and transition to a new industry market. Our professional career life coaches will help our alumni come back to the university for life and help them build a competitive brand that'll help them be successful for their future.
Right. Well, Wayne, thank you very much. As we kind of close the show, do you have any, what you'd say, words of wisdom for people who might be watching out there?
Absolutely. Well, I can tell you that we are here to help our students at Oakland University fulfill their educational experience, but also to have a lifelong skill set that's going to help them well beyond college. And so that was the transition of our Career and Life Design Center, not for just 4 years, but also for life skills. And so we're excited to make that commitment to each and every one of our university students and our alumni. And we look forward to working with them now and in the future.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Wayne. And as you mentioned, the OU pledge is saying how much, the whole university and president, everybody is supporting this. And like you said, career and life design center. So yes, and I think that's such a great point that you mentioned, that you're there. If there's downsizing in the future, there's still, you're there to help them. So thank you again, Wayne, for what you do and your passion, and for what the Oakland University is doing to promote the students and the Southeast Michigan area.
Thank you, Cindy.
Yeah. And I'd like to thank our audience for watching. I hope you found all this great information and it can help you, students, or someone you might know. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'm Cindy Kainz.